What's up from Malaysia? I want to talk a little bit about homeschooling and why we chose to homeschool our kid. Maybe give you some of the pros from our experience, some of the cons. Let's get into it. The reason why we chose to homeschool our kid, we travel around a lot. We've got family in the United States, we got family in Malaysia, and we have the opportunity to visit with family, friends. We like to go sightseeing. We like to travel. So instead of putting enrolling our kid into a school, taking her out of school, putting her into another school, taking her out of another school, we decided to homeschool her. Uh, some of the pros from our experience is that uh, we can spend more time on subjects that she may have a harder time getting. When you're in a school setting in a classroom, you may have 30 or 40 other kids in the classroom, and spending the correct amount of time with each one of those students is an impossible job. Some kids learn faster than other kids, and some kids need a little more time to learn subject matter. So spending the correct amount of time is I mean it's just impossible for as many kids that could be in a classroom. So like for example, with my kid, the curriculum we've chosen, some of the subjects during the day, it'll go through a list of subjects. Now I don't want to endorse one curriculum over the other. There's free ones, there's paid ones. With the internet, homeschooling is way easier to do than it used to be, and also with the internet, all the information for every subject that's ever existed, it's available out there. If you want to find it, you can get it. But with the curriculum we've chosen to follow, uh, which by the way, we don't need to only go with this curriculum. We could supplement it with other curriculums that we've come across. But for her day, our kid's day, it starts out with reading a book, and then she has to um, tell us about the book, almost like a small book report, and it'll go into now. Just a reminder, I'm an American. Uh, so the curriculum we've chosen, we were still in the United States. It's an American based curriculum, so it's uh, some of the subjects are American centric. They'll have the American measurements and when it comes to social studies, it'll be American based. So uh, past that, the the book report is a small book report, and then it'll go into uh, spelling. Some of the spelling. She's doing second grade right now, so part of the spelling is language arts, I suppose would be a better term, because part of the there's spelling words each week that the students are required to learn, and but right now they're learning how to write paragraphs to turn into which eventually will get turned longer into short stories and longer stories eventually later on. Right now they're learning paragraphs, but they'll have spelling words every week, and it goes into they'll usually have a presentation. She'll write down some kind of story and then present it at the end of the week, and then there's the math. I think math is really important. It's the math is kind of the basics of a lot of things, and so I think it's really important to learn math. And math is one thing in particular that she is not confident in, which is where we can her storytelling, her spelling, her writing. It comes easy to her, but the math she gets frustrated with. So we can spend more time on the math, something that may not happen in a classroom, until she understands the subject completely. And that you get 30 or 40 kids in a classroom. It just you can't spend enough time for everyone to get it the way they need to get it. But at home, we can spend as much time, which is actually, one of the hardest parts about homeschooling is keeping the schedule. And once you get the schedule down, you can alter it. And beyond the math, after math is social studies. Because it's an American-based curriculum, we they are we're going through right now. It's a little basic American history, how the United States was formed, what the different parts of the government are, basic stuff like that. Now I can get a little long-winded when it comes to government topics or or social studies in general, but which may complicate. You gotta watch yourself with the homeschooling. You don't want to. We like to get the curriculum done and learn the subject matter that we're supposed to learn. But I can, homeschooling, you can get a little long-winded if it's a subject that you're familiar with, or excited about. Uh, After social studies is science class. There's a science class, and right now we're learning a little bit about basic biology, little life cycles of different animals and plants and bugs. And part of traveling around, but going back to social studies a little bit, traveling around and going from the United States, different states in the United States, coming over to Malaysia and traveling around Malaysia. We even went up to Thailand. You get to experience how people live their daily lives, what they do for work, how they interact with each other, different customs and cultures. So that ties in with the social studies and with science, because there's also this curriculum in particular has incorporated a physical education part up to their curriculum. And so for science, and sometimes for social studies, but for science in particular, we like to go out for walks in nature, and we can observe the animals. We can observe the people and the animals. So it's we can really get hands on for the science there, and it goes great. Here in Malaysia, you could have monkeys roaming around. We got the monitor lizards and ants, and unfortunately the cockroaches. The cockroaches may be operating the elevator in the mall you go into here in Malaysia, but you can really get hands on, and you can incorporate a couple of different subjects to really build on the curriculum to supplement the curriculum and expand on it. And science class, after science class, they have the art class, different projects, which uh, if you're not good with art, you can stick with the curriculum. If you're into the art and doing projects, you can pick your own projects. You don't have to stick strictly to the curriculum. And then, of course, I said there's the PE class, the physical education class. So some of the pros in my experience is that you can go at your own pace. Like I said before, our kid is really excels at reading and spelling and storytelling. So some of the things she I wouldn't say struggles with, but likes a little. maybe needs a little extra attention with because she's not confident with is the math. Uh, so we can spend a little more time with math, and I like to spend a little more time with social studies, science, and physical education. Um, as long as you don't spend too much of your own time, too much of the your kids' time talking about things that don't really need to be talked about. But it's okay to expand a little bit, and so that's my experience is going at your own pace and being able to travel and work maybe not a typical job. You're not in not so much in a typical job, and being able to move around with your kid. Maybe some of the cons, in the past, uh, homeschooling was looked at as your kid's weird. Well, I got news for everybody. Everyone thinks your kid is weird. It doesn't matter. Your kid is weird. So, with the internet available in so many places, everybody's got all the information right in their hand. Most people carry it around in their pocket on their phone. Most people don't use it for the right kind of information, but with the internet, homeschooling has become a lot easier and more widely available. And so I don't think some of the old ways of thinking about homeschooling apply today. Uh, you know, because outside of school, there are numerous things. Join a sports team or join a karate class or judo class. Join the football, soccer team. Join the baseball team. Whatever extracurricular. You could join. Go to music class, or go to the library and join a reading club, a book club, and interact. Even just going to a park a couple times a week. You get that physical education, and you get the socialization with the other kids. Being on a sports team, or going to a karate dojo is a good learning experience for everybody. And some of the because there are a couple of cons of going to public school, which maybe I agree with, maybe I don't agree with, maybe you do, one way or the other. Some of the cons is you've got uh, different people with different ideas, different beliefs that they bring into school, whether they mean to or not. And you can choose to, when your kid's in school with those 30 or 40 other kids, you don't have a whole lot of choice of who the teacher is. Maybe because it goes both ways. Maybe some people don't like the way I teach my kid, but I don't like the way some other people teach my kid. So it goes both ways. So I don't want to get into that a whole lot, because it goes back and forth. It'll constantly go back and forth. And I'd like to, for what I we don't that's I guess that's better left for another time. uh, so some of the other cons is when I was in school, they would do school plays, or the holiday musicals, or whatever they was, the shows where the parents come, the kids practice for a couple of weeks or days, and parents come and they love to watch their kids. And but I think is for a school that still exists, obviously, but I think missing out on that is a thing of the past because there's so many things outside of school that are going on now. You just have to be willing to keep your eyes and your ears open and dive into it. So for me, our experience, I think the pros outweigh the cons. Pros of homeschooling outweigh the cons uh, by a considerable amount, and I think the experience for our kid to learn to see some of the things around the world that she gets to see uh, and experience the different ways of life, different cultures around the world firsthand. I think that are beneficial. So I think homeschooling for us is working out so far. Um, maybe you've got a different different view, but those are the pros in my experience. I'm not here to convince anybody to do homeschooling or not to do homeschooling. Um, and I'm not here to endorse any curriculum over another curriculum if you were to choose to homeschool your kids. But there are paid curriculums and there are free curriculums, and I'm of the opinion that because there's so much information available to everyone in the world, that education is free whether you go to school or not. Education should never stop. You should always be learning. So learning doesn't only happen at school. You should always be learning, and with the availability of information out there, homeschooling is way easier than it used to be. And so that so they there's other people that are of my opinion that education is free and should be free. Some people have built some very good curriculums, very good teaching methods, and teaching tools that don't cost any money. And it's not to say you only need to stick with one curriculum or one way of doing things. You can incorporate multiple, which I also think is a good idea. But really, I think the choice to educate your children is up to you. And some things should be left at home, and some things are meant to be in school. But just whatever you do, remember to have fun.